Okay, so I promise this really is the last part. But so for these problems, always assume that the center is 0, 0. That's not always likely the case, but for this class it will be. So what I want you to always write for these problems are x squared plus y squared equals 1. And I will not get too excited with this stuff. Okay. So you can always write that. Your goal is to figure out what these bottom numbers are. It's actually really easy because if you look at the information that they give you, if the vertices are at, so the vertex is 6. 6 is in the y spot. So if 6 is in the y spot, what would you put under y? You put 36, right? Because you would square that number. Okay. And so 4 is in the x spot. What would you put under x? If you squared that, you would get 16. So really easy. So go ahead and try this part now. The one right below it, I'm going to go up and steal part of this equation if I can. So it's not as like horrid looking. Okay. Perfect. So on this next one, so again, you can always write x squared plus y squared equals 1. That's a given. And then you've got to just figure out the bottom numbers. So 9 is in the x spot. So you put 81 under x. And then negative 8 is in the y spot. So what's negative 8 squared? You should get 64. Okay. Well, what about this one? What you'll notice here is that you are not given your vertice and covertice like you are here. You're given a vertex and a focus. So you can still do something with a vertex. The vertex has a 7 in the y spot. So what do? Well, underneath y, you could put the number 49, right? Because 7 squared is 49. But if you come over here, the 3 is also in the y spot. So that doesn't help you because you already have the y value figured out. So what you do is think about what 3 squared is. It's 9, right? Question. How do you go from 49 to 9? Again, how can you go from 49 to 9? You should be thinking that you could subtract 40, right? And that's the number that you put here. Always a number you can subtract by. So let's do this again. So down here, you've got a vertex of negative 5 in the x spot. So what are you going to put under x? Put 25, right? But if you come over here to the focus, this is also in the x spot. So what do you do with that? Well, you can square that number. What happens when you square a big 2? You get 4. And then what happens when you square a square root? The root goes away and it's just 6, right? So this turns into what? What is 6 times 4? It's 24. How do you go from 25 to 4? You can take away how many? How do you go from 25 to 4? You can take away 1, right? And that's the number that goes here. For the first number they give you is your starting point. The second number they give you, the focus, is your ending point. And then you have to just figure out how many numbers it would take to get there. So to go from 49 to 9, I subtracted 40. To go from 25 to 24, I subtracted 1. Okay, these aren't too difficult. Okay, so now if you flip the page, you actually have an ellipse worksheet where you have to do numbers 1 through 8, skipping number 4. Very quickly, if you look at problems 3 and 7, it's not allowed to equal 116. So if you remember, if I go back up here, so remember with this one where it equaled 100, we divided everything by that last number and rewrote it. So it's going to be the same thing on your classwork. You're going to always divide by the last number and then go from there. Okay? So let me know if you have any questions. If you need to, you can email me. I did leave an answer key for the classwork, so you guys can reference that if you need to. Otherwise, you guys are going to be good to go. Okay, I will see you on Monday. So have a good weekend. Bye, guys. Oh, make sure before I go, make sure you get your packet stamped when you're done. Please put your stamp on May 9th. So make sure you get a stamp on May 9th before you leave. All right, bye, guys.